Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 55 of the XBL Party Podcast UK show. My name is Ash, aka I'm Ghostbuster, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-panelists BMG and Sentinel. And today we've got two special guests. We have got Infinite Umbra and Ham Solo. How is it going, everyone?
I'm doing fantastic.
Super.
So far, so good.
Living the dream.
I don't know what we're going to talk about because it's been a really quiet week in Xbox news. Nothing important or majors happened. But before we get into anything, there's just one thing I want to follow up from last night. It's an ongoing sort of saga which has now been finalized. So let's just see. Star Wars is set in the past. So me and Sentinel are correct. Na. Goodbye. You are wrong, BMG. Look, this is Thimba's official poll. It is the past. And I even put this up in the Outright Games group. They all said the past. You're wrong.
Well,
How do you feel, BMG?
Well, I will not accept that. I do not accept that Star Wars is set in the past. I have messaged the Jedi Master himself, Mark Hamill. So when he tells me Star Wars is set in the past, I will take the L on it. But until then, I ain't having
like
it.
a fanboy on Twitter over this.
No.
You were backtracking.
Even the super chats agree that Star Wars is in the past.
There you go. Look. Star Wars is in the past. And our two guests are like, what the hell are they on about? But we had an argument on we did a 20 questions where we have to guess a video game where you can like ask a question and it's like yes or no. You've got 20 questions to guess it. And at the end of it, it was like set in the future. And we were like, well, technically Star Wars is set in the past. And BMG would have none of it. So I just feel we're vindicated now, though, Sentinel. I think we've proven it.
Yes.
Wait a minute. How do you all feel that Star Wars is set in the past?
It says at the beginning of the movie.
It's a Battlestar Galactica kind of thing, situation where...
No, it tells you at the beginning of the movie. Back in 1977. Back in 1977, it says it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So it was a long time prior to 1977.
It could be a long time ago in the future.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Star Wars Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, take place before, before Luke Skywalker came around. There you go, see? So it was like back in like the 1860s, way before. 1977, way before.
It's so far advanced technologically.
Yep, it was back in the 1500s. It was back in the 300s. Who knows? It was back around the ancient Greece times. Yeah. But it happened before 1977, so that's the past. BMG was like, one of the clues was like, oh, it's a game set in the future. And I was like, shit, Mass Effect. And I'm thinking Mass Effect, but of course the clues were leading away from it. And so we almost completely got it wrong because he didn't know Star Wars was in the past.
Nope.
So
I will wait on Mark Hamill clearing it up. Until then, I'd still say it's set in the future.
He's too busy. As Timber says, have you not seen the new Star Wars for Jedi Survivor trailer where Mark Hamill's like showing the guy who's the main character how to be a Jedi? It's great. It's a really good.
And to be fair, I've purposely avoided anything to do with Jedi Survivor because there are a lot of spoilers out there. Again, warning to anyone, if you are going to be picking up Star Wars Jedi Survivor tomorrow, or even if you have it pre-ordered and pre-installed, Twitter is absolutely full of spoilers, of cutscenes, the end of the game. So just avoid everything, mute the keywords, and enjoy the game yourself.
Yeah. Luckily, though, this Mark Hamill trailer doesn't give anything really away. It has a few gameplay clips. It's just kind of funny that it's like he's in his mocap suit and Mark Hamill's like throwing popcorn at him, trying to get him to hit it. Like where the droid in the original Star Wars film shooting him and stuff like that. And he's using the Force blind to like deflect it. It is quite funny though. So I do recommend checking it out. But you can always watch it at the end of the week once the game's out. Quick shout out to people in chat. We've got Daz, we've got Muppet, we've got Mesuko, we've got Thimba, Evening All, We've got
Oh, well, there we go. Mark Hamill himself has silenced Ash and taken him off the show. I don't know where he's gone. Oh, he's back. He's back. It's okay, guys. He's back.
Well, I don't know what happened there. It just
went to a galaxy far away.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
This is why we use StreamYard and not OBS anymore, or that would have really messed up the show tonight. But yeah, big shout out to everyone in chat anyway. Thanks for joining us. We've got a load of topics to talk about. Obviously, the big elephant in the room is obviously we apologise. The UK apologises for our crappy government agencies. The CMA blocked the ABK Xbox merger. We'll be talking about that shortly. We've got obviously the responses from like Activision and stuff like that. We've got talks about Xbox. I'm just trying to read off the list. We've got Xbox has reportedly had its second best Q3, which is pretty cool, despite having some downsides in sort of like hardware sales. We've got new games with gold and Game Pass releases. We've got Xbox working on a mystery sequel. And we've got the THQ Nordics annual digital showcases returning, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But before we jump into the topics, we'll just quickly go over what everyone's been playing. We'll start with you, Sentinel. What have you been playing this week?
I've been going back and forth between Xbox and PlayStation. And you know what my wife actually said? She said, you only play PlayStation like a couple days out of the month. Most of the time you're playing Xbox. And I held up the controller, and I said that's basically it. The feel of the controller. I like the feel of the controller for Xbox better than PlayStation because, like, you go back and forth, and the joysticks just feel different. So it takes time to get used to. I've been playing a lot of Halo Infinite, to be honest, especially multiplayer. I know we all give 343 so much shit for how long it took for them to get Halo Infinite in a good place, but I think it's in a good place. Especially right now. You look at...
I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Well, I mean, and it's true. It's like I had a time when I played Halo Infinite at the beginning and I kind of dropped off and just stopped playing it. But I got back into it and I started playing it a lot more. And 343's actually put in a lot of good work on the franchise. And I enjoy playing it. It's if not every day, it's every other day. But I do jump into Halo rounds and beat the hell out of people a lot. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I still think Infinite is one of the best Halo gameplay experiences. Like it handles and plays fantastically. The multiplayer is great, and I also love the campaign co-op is really fun. Like we had a lot of fun with that open world when we were playing it with BMG and Fabio. We had a right laugh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you loved the weapon. I was going to say, she's kind of cute, I guess.
Well, whatever turns you on, mate. Whatever rocks your boat. But it's great. It's like I say, it's just a shame it didn't have the co-op and the Forge at launch. Yeah. I think that would have tied a lot of the problems it had over until more content started to come. But in the core gameplay aspects of it, how it handles, how it feels, how it looks, it's up there with the best of the Halos in the franchise. And it's just a shame, I think, that they've been marred with the bad brush, basically. But we'll see how 343 bounces back. So,
agreed.
What about you then, Ham Solo? What you've been playing?
I've been playing a lot of different stuff. I just finished completing all of the achievements for Vampire Survivors, just so I can get that drug away from me. I also been playing some Metal Gear Solid 3 on my PS3 because I never played any Metal Gear Solid since the original PlayStation. So I figured I'd go back and see what I all missed and everything like that. Played some Halo Infinite with the wife. Same with Overcooked. Ghostwire Tokyo. Been playing a good amount of that as of lately. Red Dead Redemption. I'm really kind of just all over the place. Tetris Effect Connected.
I did like that Tetris. I played a lot of it when it first came to Game Pass. I played it a hell of a lot. My missus played it more. She's like a Tetris machine. She can out Tetris me.
My wife loves it too, bruh. Like she
nice.
like just something. I think it's like the mixture of nostalgia with the music that's in the game, because the music that's in the game is fucking magical. Excuse my language.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's very good.
Last time I played Tetris, the music was. That's the last time I played Tetris.
It's changed a little bit. It's crazy now. That new Tetris game that they just came out with, the music it's fire. Definitely.
It puts you on a journey. It's that crazy. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you finish a level and you've got like a dolphin that's made out of star constellations. You're like, what's going on? That's what
the first time I was playing that new Tetris game, like all three of my teenagers stopped what they were doing and they came into the living room and they're like, "What are you playing? Oh my god!" It's completely alluring. It's such an amazing transformation for the Tetris franchise. It's crazy.
Insane for Tetris.
Yeah, I was blown away by how good it was. I was just like, wow, it was truly amazing.
Y'all got me about to turn this thing right back on, man.
What about you, BMG? What you've been playing?
Well, I've been playing my usual daily game, Marvel Snap. You know, the...
once you go Marvel, there is no rival. I know.
That's it. You know, it makes sense. It is the Game Awards 2022 Game of the Year and the XBN Mobile Game of the Year. But yeah, absolutely enjoying it still. Only played a couple of games a day. You know, I've kind of eased off a bit because, you know, people complain that I'm not working enough because I'm too busy playing games on my phone. So, you know, a couple of games a day, and that gets my fix. Destiny 2, big Destiny fan, love Destiny. We have a podcast dropping this Sunday, actually, for Destiny, so make sure you keep an eye on the socials for that.
You want a good sleep, ready for Monday morning, for your bank holiday in the UK, go and listen to the Destiny podcast.
Wow.
It's
Destiny, the best live serving FPS game on the planet. But just doing my weeklies now, ready for the next season.
It started off as the best live service game, and now it's the best live service FPS, because you know it's not the best live service game. You're having to sort of crunch it down.
It's the best game.
It's soon going to be the best live service FPS set in space, made by Bungie. It'll be that.
It's not set in space.
It's set in the past. BMG. It's set in the past. He'll be like, no, it's set in the future.
Don't
right.
Start.
Right.
And other than that, it's I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. My son bought me the game, so I'm trying my hardest to get through it, get it finished, ready for Jedi Survivor, which drops tomorrow. For us, I think it's in 9 hours' time. It drops in the UK, so can't wait to jump in and play that. I went back to play the first one, replayed that. Thoroughly enjoyed it again. But yeah, that's trying to get through Hogwarts. Hopefully after the show I can finish it off ready for tomorrow.
Are you enjoying it?
I see, I've never been a Harry Potter fan and all that. My kids are. My daughter had me sit through the 3 of the new films in the cinema, and I didn't understand a thing that was going on. I don't understand a lot that's happening in this game, and I was enjoying it at the start, but now it's kind of got to that point where I just want to get through it now, because it's just like, right, you want, yeah.
I 100% feel that, because I'm not into that at all either. I really like the game, and I think they did an amazing job with it. But I feel like if I was more into Harry Potter, it would have been like easily a Gotti. For me right now, it's like I need to see some more stuff come out before I give it that kind of title.
I played it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It is definitely one of the contenders for Game of the Year for me.
Oh, for sure. I just need to see some more come out before I give it that title. You feel me?
Yeah.
But right now, it's one of the best games I've played. Just the how nice it looks, how faithful it is to the world. Now it expands on that sort of franchise and its sort of like settings and stuff. The only downside is they took out like the Quidditch, and now they're selling it as a separate game, basically, which is a bit of a con. But the game itself was pretty decent. Like I say, it's one of the ones I've put the most time into so far this year.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. Don't get me wrong; it's beautiful. The voice acting, the characters, the world. I honestly can't doubt it's really, really good. Probably, like you say, I do agree. It's probably in that Game of the Year contender. It's just I think I don't know if it's because I'm not really up to the lore and stuff like that. I don't know half of the things that are going on. The story is interesting. Hasn't really gripped me, to be honest, because you have to get your level up before you can continue the story. I would have liked it if I could have just powered through the story, not have to do loads of side stuff and have it more of an optional thing than have to do stuff to get my level up. But it's a good game, but I wonder if it's more that Jedi Survivor is one of my most anticipated games of the year, and I think I was just trying to get through it, rush through it, because I want to ready to play that. But even if I don't, I'll stop playing to jump on Jedi Survivor, and then I would come back to it. But I wouldn't have gone out and bought it because I'm not a Harry Potter fan and with the lore and things. But as you know, my son bought me it. It's obviously I was going to play it, but it's fun. Don't get me wrong; some of the stuff's fun. There's a lot to do in there. The world's beautiful. I like capturing the animals in the bag. That's quite fun.
Yeah. It's out next week on PS4 and Xbox One, apparently. It comes out next Friday.
Yeah, it has 2 more launches. It has Xbox One and the PS4, and then later down the line, the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I just want to watch that. I just want to watch that live streamed from somebody just to see what that thing is.
That's got Cyberpunk.
Switch. Can you imagine
Cyberpunk written all over it?
It's either they're going to go streaming-wise, and it'll be a streaming game like Resident Evil and stuff did, or it's going to look and run at like 4 frames per second, and it's going to be like, it's going to have fog like a PS1 game or something like that, so it runs. It's going to look absolutely awful.
But the thing is, though, I'm playing it on Xbox Series X, and you know when you're in Hogwarts and like you're going into the outside, like the courtyard, you've got like it's a loading screen. Get that wheel spinning in front of the door for a few seconds before you can go through. And I'm thinking, you know, this is using an SSD and everything else. Like, why have I got a loading screen? But it's like, right, fair enough. It's a few seconds. Now, what's that going to be on Xbox One and PS4? Yeah. Jesus, that's probably going to take 2.5 minutes to load.
You have the whole map you can fly over, bar the village. The main village, you can literally fly the entire map top to bottom, loading out. So it is a big thing to load. But yeah, it's going to be ghastly. It's going to be like, I get to play it though. I get the Xbox One version because I bought the digital deluxe version like an idiot. So now I get the Xbox One version later to replay it in a lower res and a worse running version. It's going to be amazing.
720p, 30 frames.
That's it. It's going to be great.
If you're lucky.
What about you, Umbra? What have you been playing?
Oh man, I've been playing a few things. Ghostwire Tokyo is the newest game to capture me. I've also bought Dead Island 2. I haven't even touched it because I've been loving Ghostwire Tokyo, oddly enough, and I had zero hype for Ghostwire Tokyo. I was kind of like, it's on Game Pass now, so yeah, I'll finally play it. You know, and I have a PS5. I could have played it last year, but why would I pay for something I know is coming to Game Pass though? But
right.
So no, it really captured me. I'm a big fan of Japanese culture, so seeing how they handle their oni and everything like that, it's just dope to me, and it's kind of in line with everything I've seen through media and such. So, and kind of having this it's this open world section of Tokyo that you run around through, and it's pretty dope, and you have to free souls and stuff. I don't know what it is about it, but whatever it is, it has me hooked to go and free these souls. I don't know.
It's the loop, bro.
Is that what it is
that the game gives you? Like,
you know what? And it's like I got that game downloaded, and I haven't played it yet, so I might have to play it this weekend.
Oh, I've got so many games downloaded that I haven't had time to play. It makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean, The thing is, you got Star Wars coming out now. You got Benedict Fox. It came out today. I don't think you'll be getting to Tokyo anytime soon.
I want to play that new Minecraft as well. My kids have got right into the proper Minecraft, and I want to have a go with the other one because we played the dungeons and we quite enjoyed that. We played it on the channel. We played it together when it first came out, and then I played it with my kids. I don't know if this Legends will be good for my kids because it's more strategy based, but I haven't even tried it yet. But there's just so much. It's just the
throw them into the deep end, make them learn.
Dare we say Xbox has games?
Right.
The only people that say it doesn't are the ones that don't play like indie games.
The Hooved variety. Our Hooved brothers is what you were looking for.
Well, yeah, BMG.
Let him know.
Pegasus Nation, baby.
You got your rope ready, Ham? You got the rope ready?
I love both. I love
throws
both.
for the last hour, just getting ready for this podcast.
Yeah,
right.
I do agree though. I do agree though. Why pay for the game when you can get it on like Game Pass and stuff? It's just beyond me.
I still never get the argument that Xbox fans aren't going to buy a game that's on Game Pass. Like, no, of course they're not. They'll buy it when it's off Game Pass. We'll buy a different game. Like, why would I spend like 50 quid on Minecraft Legends when I could spend 50 quid on some other games? I could buy like Star Wars at the same time and play them both.
But again,
sense.
As well, it's like the argument I've had with people on Twitter and things like that, and I've mentioned it on the show. People that have that argument, I support the devs, I buy the game at full price, subscription services, you don't own the games. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute. Even if you pay $70 for the game, you still don't own the game. You lease a license until the developer and publisher decide to pull the game. Whether you pay $70 for the game or you get it through PS Plus subscription or Xbox Game Pass, you only lease it until it's pulled.
Yeah, that's true.
The difference is, though, those people that argue, I bet they listen to music on the radio and Spotify. Are you telling me they don't? They go, no, I'm switching that radio off. I'm going to go out and buy that CD. Because, no, they're not. Netflix. Yeah. Are you telling me they don't watch TV and Netflix because they go, no, I'm not watching it as part of my subscription. I'm going to go to the cinema and then I'm not watching it again until I've bought it on physical release. It's a load of shit. It's just a sad fanboy argument that needs to go. And yes,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Is about.
I wonder how many people feel like they. I wonder how many people feel like they own that Square Enix game from Platinum that closed down last year.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like, oh, yeah, you own the disc, all right. You sure got it.
What was it called now? That one that like 5 people on Steam played.
Right.
That's the exact game I'm talking about. I don't even remember the name. It's so dead.
And people are like, we want, what do you call it back? Scalebound. We don't want Scalebound back. Look what they're pumping out. That's the sort of shit we'd get. Scalebound would come back. And
the Destiny devs were happy when that people stopped playing that game because they got their count back up to 10. It went from 5 to 10 people playing Destiny 2. BMG being one of them.
Just because half of the Destiny player base is going to be panelists on the BMG's Destiny podcast,
right?
Doesn't mean anything.
It's like a Mad Max thing where BMG has to go look everywhere just to find people that still play Destiny. Like millions of gamers, but only 5 of them play Destiny.
Everyone loves Destiny.
Well, BlazBlue's good, quite good, which is I expected. I played one of the older ones on the 360, and it was quite a fun little fighting game. And that's just come out today on Game Pass. And I feel bad for it because it's going to get totally left behind because everyone's going to play Benedict Fox instead. And then tomorrow they're all going to play Star Wars. So it's just going to get sort of lost, which is a shame. But hey, they've been paid for it, so everyone wins.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. That's why I was saying, like, I'm playing Ghostwire now. I still have to get through Dead Island. I haven't even touched it. And you got Benedict Fox today, which I've been wanting to play since I saw it on the showcase. And then you got Star Wars, Jedi Survivor. It's like, man, I don't know what to do. I got a gaming crisis right here.
And then next month, if I say next month, we're at the end of April. I consider it kind of the beginning of May. But next month in June, if Xbox shadow drops something and they say, hey, we got other stuff coming in June, July, August, smaller titles, third party, doesn't matter. Hell, this entire summer could be crowded with a lot of quality content as well.
Well, not even just that. You got Redfall dropping on the 2nd of May.
That's true. That's true.
Babylon's Fall was that game, by the way.
Yeah, it did fall.
I was thinking Forspoken, because Forspoken kind of fell off the map too.
I was thinking Forspoken as well.
Yeah.
Forspoken, they've just released DLC for that.
Damn, so Square Enix has more duds than they have successes, and then they sell off their successful studios, like Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. They're like, no, we don't need those. We'll keep, we'll just do Final Fantasy.
We'll keep the duds. Put out weren't profitable enough for them to say they were successful.
Well, you know what though? Here's my thing. Being an Xbox gamer, right? It's like if you know that Square Enix is going to sell off Crystal Dynamics, and Crystal Dynamics is developing an exclusive for you, why the hell would you not pick it up? That's just, that's my thing. Why would Xbox not pick them up? That makes too much sense. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I promise.
I've been playing a lot of Square Enix games this last week because they sent me the Live Alive and the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters for PS5 because obviously they don't know. They just Xbox is like the unwanted like stepchild. They don't care. They've shoved it up in the attic room out of the way. So they're going to complain that they haven't sold that great. Live Alive is going to like be an unsuccessful game in their eyes, and then they'll probably kill the franchise off again. And it's like, well, put it on all the consoles. Don't limit them down. But that's their choice. They obviously would rather have that big bag of money up front. Without putting it everywhere, but that's just me. I just find it odd.
Square Enix reminds me of something like they're the person that like shoots themselves and then complains that they're bleeding.
Yeah.
Like what's going on here? Why am I hurting so bad? And it's like,
right.
Well, you could do this. No, man, I ain't trying to do that. And it's like, but this will give you more money. It might not give you as much money as as these people over here, but isn't the game to make money? Like, what are we doing here?
Right, exactly.
I sometimes think maybe Square are just holding out on Xbox because they want that big Game Pass bundle that they got for the last lot. We got all those Final Fantasies, we got pretty much all of them up to date, and we got Kingdom Hearts and everything finally on Xbox. And then Square went, right, you've had enough now. That's it for the next 10 years. Piss off. Like, do you think they're just holding out, expecting a big bag of money for Game Pass, or do we think they are literally just taking those really bad Sony deals where they're like, you can't put them on Xbox, which wouldn't surprise me either way.
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Let's just be grateful Tomb Raider's not with them anymore. Tomb Raider's been freed to the Amazon mines, but hey, can't win it always.
Yeah.
Should we jump into some topics though? Because we're never going to get through anything. And
let's do it.
Because it's been such a slow week with no Xbox news at all.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. Sure.
We'll get to the big one first because like this is probably the one that most people don't want to talk about and are sick of hearing. But
might as well just rip the Band-Aid off. Just rip it off.
Sinners Red has put it as the title of the episode, so I'm going to have to at least mention it. So obviously, the Activision and Microsoft deal's been going through all the rigmarole through all of these sort of professional bodies, and this week the UK's CMA announced their decision. After literally the whole week, it's been sort of rumoured that they were leaning towards a deal and everything was great. They came out and they've prevented the deal to protect innovation and choice in cloud gaming. So on their official website, let me see if I can get this up using the power of screen share. So as you can see, the CMA has prevented Microsoft's proposed purchase of Activision over concerns the deal would alter the future of the fast-growing cloud gaming market. And that makes me laugh. That's like saying VR is fast-growing, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for gamers over the years to come. So it says Microsoft solutions had significant shortcomings and would require regulatory oversight by CMA, and cloud gaming needs a free competitive market to drive innovation and choice. So yeah, they basically originally dropped all of the competition, like console competition complaints they had, saying it wouldn't really affect Sony, and then they sort of latched onto this very loosey-goosey cloud gaming concerns, and you read what they've put and like it makes no sense. Like whoever's forecasting like this is crazy. So like it's saying the UK cloud gaming market is moving fast. Monthly active users in the UK more than tripled from the start of 2021 to 2022. However, Microsoft have come out and said at most you can only have 5,000 people on the cloud on Xbox, like xCloud, in the UK at once. 5,000. So this isn't big. We're not on about millions of people. We're on about a handful, really. Like it's a drop in the pond, isn't it? And it is forecast to be worth up to 11 billion globally and 1 billion in the UK by 2026. So, by comparison, sales of recorded music in the UK in the 2021, like they're comparing 5 years different things here. So they're saying in 2026 it'll be worth this much, but in 2021 the UK music industry was only worth 1.1 billion. And basically they're saying obviously Microsoft has like a 60% cloud gaming sort of foothold, so it has the majority of the cloud gaming in the UK, and it basically said that if they obviously got Call of Duty, Overwatch, all that sort of stuff, the evidence available to the CMA says that they would basically become a monopoly in cloud gaming. You can read the full thing. I'm not gonna read it all because we could be here, but Microsoft already put a load of proposals to it. And everything. There's loads. I mean, they seemed more happy to share their little Twitter posts and the polls and stuff like that, and big themselves up on Twitter than actually do the jobs. It's shocking. I can't believe it didn't get passed, especially over cloud. It's like, do they actually think it's real clouds or something like that? And they haven't got a fucking clue, because it just baffles me. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, I'm Solo. Do you have anything to say?
Man, I always have something to say. I mean, to me, it's weird. It really felt kind of, like a very much like victory dance that they kind of did when they announced it. Instead of it feeling like, oh, you actually helped or made sense with what you said. A lot of people looked at this whole thing, and I'm actually going to go back to a tweet I was talking about the other day on my own podcast that Paul Tassi actually put out that I thought was really informative. Let me pull that up real quick. So he said, so after the CMA had the statement saying, we've prevented Microsoft from purchasing Activision over concerns the deal would damage competition in the cloud gaming market, leading to less innovation and choice for UK gamers. And Paul Tassi then said, yes, cloud gaming, the 1.72 billion portion of a check notes $180 billion industry.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say the size of the VR industry right now is 11 billion. Oh, and for people saying that's just being forward thinking about cloud gaming, the field of experts predicting a huge cloud surge also estimate that VR will grow to 227 billion.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to mention
Get the hell up out of here.
Exactly.
I don't even think VR is growing. Like the PS5, the PSVR 2, which looks amazing, and I really want one.
Dude, I want one too. That thing looks amazing.
But I think the point of it is, though, Ghostbusters, I think the point of that he was making is if their concern is that this fledgling, as they always keep saying, nascent thing with cloud gaming is such an issue that it could be this big thing in a few years and it'll get up to 11 billion. Well, VR is already that. PlayStation has that cornered on console. So why aren't you rallying against that?
Yeah, exactly. And also, what's funny is we're arguing over cloud gaming in the UK. We've got terrible internet, terrible mobile connection compared to like America and stuff. The standard internet over here is nowhere near as good as you guys over there. Like we're on like 50 megasecond at best, sort of thing. You can get better. You can get like 5 to the property and like 200 meg and stuff. But a lot of places,
I got a gig.
Rural. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, bruh.
It's
wait. Ham, you're in Iowa, right?
Yes, I'm in Iowa with a gig.
You know what? And that's bullshit, man. It's like I'm in a city with 500,000 people, and I'm lucky to get 100 megabytes a second. And AT&T just threw their hands up and said, "That's the best we can do for you." I was like, "Motherfucker, are you kidding me?"
Don't they have
I've got houses.
AT&T fiber? I could have swore they had that.
They don't for my area. They have it like 4 blocks to the east. They said unless you move, and I was like, "Are you serious?" 100 megabytes. And you know what? I don't even get 100 megabytes. On a good day, I get 85. So that's nonsense right there. Ridiculous.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Well, I mean, not compared to you guys. I guess compared to you guys, that's fast. But
you know what?
I didn't think I was living large in Iowa. This is news.
My last house, the best I could get was 6 meg. And then I moved here and got to I get about 55, 60 at best.
This dude said the internet wasn't even loading anything.
That's it. It was terrible. And like I say, at the moment,
bro was still using Napster. What was going on?
Still dials up. It's still AOL.
It was on AOL.
Yeah. He busting open the disc for the minutes, man.
That's it. Yeah. But honestly, it's that in the UK they are just like rolling it out like snail's pace in some places. My area in particular, and we're moaning about a potential. There ain't enough servers to host all these 11 billion players, and 2, we haven't got the capacity with our infrastructure. You want to fix that first, so madness.
Even beyond that, though, like the whole point of their argument is, well, they have the dominance there, monopoly, because 70%. They don't have 70% in cloud. They're trying to conflate what they have in Game Pass numbers, and since xCloud is kind of infused with their Game Pass and allows you to play it through Game Pass Ultimate, they're trying to say, "Oh, that's cloud for them. That's all of that is. That's all those customers, all of those are cloud members and such."
Yeah.
Well, that's not the case because not everybody's an Ultimate subscriber for one, and like you pointed out, Ghostbuster, like. Certain areas don't even have the infrastructure to run these games through cloud like that. And just to add one more thing to it, Microsoft has already acquiesced by saying, "Hey, we're going to allow GeForce, we're going to allow Ubitus, we're going to allow Boosteroid, and whomever else we never heard of, outside of GeForce. That's the only one we all really know. But but they have allowed all those things they're trying to reach 150 million different people, right? And they're saying, "Oh, that's not good enough." That's a lie, and we know that's a lie. We know it's nonsensical, and they were looking for anything they could to say, "Well, we just don't think that, that what they're doing is conducive to customers." Get out of here. And I guess it's annoying to me because we've been talking about this for over a year now, and apparently, if this thing doesn't get appealed in Microsoft's favor, they could be going through this with them for the next 3 years. It's like, man, I am not trying to talk about this in the next few podcasts going forward after this year. You know what I mean?
That's it. I won't buy the E3 sort of June time, that sort of thing. I want to be moving on. I'm done. If it goes to appeals, whatever. Like we'll see. I do think it hinges on like what the EU says. If the EU passes it, then the FTC may pass it. And then that may eventually lead to a quicker turnaround with the UK CMA. It may not, though. If the EU says no, it's done. I don't even think they'll bother fighting it. But from everything they've put out, all of the responses they've said. They've literally come out and said the EU is actively trying to work with them on remedies, like physically.
Well, you know what and a whole bunch of people brought this up online, and now I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, Microsoft is pretty much like, they're rolling up their sleeves and they're like, okay, you want to play like that? We'll play like that. Microsoft started bringing up that they were responsible for UK's cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So basically, like, hey, you either approve this or, we can't protect you guys. And for Microsoft to go there, it's kind of like, oh, they're pissed off now. They're pissed.
I did see something earlier where it said the Prime Minister's aide or like the assistant to the Prime Minister had been made aware of it, and he would be talking to Microsoft about the issue.
Yeah.
Because obviously, Microsoft has, like, most companies run off of Teams and Outlook, and Microsoft is on like every single computer in the UK almost, bar those people that use Apple and Linux and stuff. It's shut down like all of the major computers, and like all the companies, all of the banks, all of the schools use it, all of the the NHS, all of our hospitals use it. They could play dirty as oh. I mean, I don't think they will, but I think they're just sort of puffing the chest a bit now. But I don't blame them.
You know what though? Because we've seen this time and time again that everyone's pretty much come out and said, hey, you know what? The CMA has admitted they don't know anything about video games. They have no idea about this stuff. So it's like they're requiring to make a decision on something they have no idea about.
Yeah.
And I mean, what kind of situation, is that? The CMA should have consulted experts that were neutral and independent rather than relying on their own lack of understanding to come up with the decision that just ultimately makes no sense. It was just a crap situation is what it was.
I'd ask you, BMG, but you're such a pony.
No.
I mean, he's covered in blue paint right now. He's riding the fake little pony around his room. He's jamming to some Jim Ryan's greatest hits. I know how it is.
Get the clapping.
Got on
get the clap.
Got on my best moves.
Right.
Chase. Funny enough, I was working yesterday, and I've got to do school contracts, and as I was. It's like out in the middle of the nowhere in the countryside. I was on my way and I saw a sign with an arrow pointing saying pony carrots this way. And I thought, I should have gone and bought one
over there,
in front of the sign. Clippity clocked all the way there. I know yesterday, I made a laugh and a joke about it. We didn't really talk about it because it's more on the Xbox side than PlayStation. But it is disappointing. Microsoft went out there and they were literally handing 10-year deals out left, right, and center to all cloud-based.
Like Oprah show.
Companies, developers, other, gaming companies like Nintendo, and obviously they tried offering PlayStation, and PlayStation weren't interested. And literally it was like, look, we're trying to make it better for everyone to take part, so everyone has access to these games. They went above and beyond what probably any other company would have done to ensure that millions, hundreds of millions of more people would have access to these games and these services. And like say the whole cloud thing, it's not even that big in the UK because as we've said, the internet is absolutely awful. I've tried out cloud gaming and it just doesn't work where I am. It's just impossible. Games crash, they just freeze, and it's pointless. Unless you're on Wi-Fi, it's absolutely pointless. But it is disappointing because, I would have liked to have access to a lot of these games and exclusive games on in Game Pass and things like that. But Activision want to sell. They need to sell. And it's like, where the hell do they go from here? Because other than that, you're looking at things like Embracer, Tencent, Saudi Arabia. They've just started their new, I can't remember the name of the company that they've got that kind of invests in gaming. You can have these people sniffing around. And where it goes like appeal-wise in the UK, the appeal goes to the body called CAT, but it can only go to them if Microsoft can prove that during the investigations and everything that they've done that they made a mistake, or they didn't do something correctly. If they've made a mistake, done something incorrectly, haven't followed up on something that could have affected the outcome of the report, then CAT, all they do is they tell the CMA to relook at it. They can't overturn the decision. They can't force them to change it. It literally goes back to CMA. The CMA reinvestigate the part that they've been accused of, not doing correctly, but that still doesn't mean the decision would be changed. It's more than likely that the decision will be held. Generally, CMA, one of the hardest government bodies, regulators to get round. If usually when it goes to phase 2, most deals just fall apart before they get this far. But I personally think the deal is dead. I don't think it's going to be able to win on an appeal or have them reinvestigate. I just don't think it's going to go anywhere. And it's sad.
I don't think it'll go through in that sense. I don't think the appeal will go anywhere. I think if they're going to do anything, it's going to be like bully tactics to the government if they're going to do it, and it's the only way they're going to do it. And
yeah,
it's a shame because there's the potential that this had, and the amount of businesses, developers and things that were benefited from it, as well as consumers. And now we've ended up with a situation where it's probably going to get worse because who knows what happens from here? Does Microsoft think, sod it? PlayStation have been doing all this gatekeeping on these third-party exclusives. Let everything that they go for, we'll chuck double the amount just to get them just purely on Xbox, and then we're going to have this tit for tat. And it's a shame. Generally, I'm disappointed that CMA didn't approve it because I think we were all on the same page that it was looking like it was going to be agreed. Microsoft purposely went out the way to make all these deals with all these companies. They even offered to have them themselves would pay a third-party independent developer that would only answer straight to the CMA to independently oversee this for the foreseeable. And CMA was like, no, we would have to step in and we're not happy.
So it sounds
that.
like you're saying that they went above and beyond to make sure that everything was on the up and up.
Yeah. Definitely.
This is why they'll win in the appeal, because outside of Microsoft's crazy influence all over the world, but no particular place in the UK, we know they're particularly big over there too. The fact that the CMA rather doesn't really have a case here. They're showing that they're either incompetent and don't know what they're talking about, which probably is the case too. Even with 2, or 2, they're biased and just saying we're going to do this, and they're posturing politically for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Now, there's been speculation about that. You had I know Michael Patrick, I know he varies for people because people often say, well, he's wrong most of the time anyway. Yeah, I'm sure. But he's been doing his job for a long time and he hasn't been fired yet. So whatever the case of how we feel, he's still there. And what's up, Mr. Joanna Dark? What's up, brother? And so my thing is either they're incompetent, not knowing how this works. And that seems to be the case because you see Brad Smith saying pretty much exactly that. Not even pretty much. He literally says they don't know what they're talking about. And in nicer terms than I did. But it's either that. And then, by the way, did you all hear this supposed speculation, at least, and not by just anybody, but by Bobby Kotick, where he pointed out that Lena Khan had met with the CMA head a week ago?
I heard about that.
Yeah, that's shocking.
How
odd. You never know. They might just be going out for lunch, but it's a bit dodgy, isn't it? So
a little too odd for me. Like, well, we're just going to happen to meet up with you, out of all people.
Yeah, exactly.
And then your result is this. Now, it's illegal for them to do that. So he didn't outright say that that's what it was, but he did speculate that could. He wonders if that was the case.
Yeah, it's only if they can prove in all the investigations that there was a mistake or something wasn't done correctly, that's the only way they can do the appeal. Because CAT, they're quite strict on how they do these things. I did see on Twitter someone said, the Secretary of State can actually overturn the decision, which technically they could. but only in extreme circumstances where it affects, public health or the interests of the citizens in the UK and things like that.
Or national security, and if Microsoft handles their cybersecurity, that's a matter of national security.
What's funny is our government is that bent. It wouldn't surprise me. Like we've got the most bent government. Like literally, all of the stuff they put through government now is only to benefit their pockets. So the fact that there's a massive $1 trillion like company trying to buy another massive $1 billion company for lots of money, and they haven't stuck their fingers in to get a piece of that pot, baffles me completely. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
I do think they've got grounds. I honestly do think. Because everything that they've shown that they're willing to do and going to do, and obviously the reports online so everyone can see it, I think personally that would ease anyone in the cloud gaming industry. I know regulators are meant to, guess, speculate what will happen in the future, but the fact that Microsoft are willing to pay for a third party that answers to regulators only on what's happening, what's going, and also willing to make changes if need be. So it's something that's going to be in perpetuity. It's something that someone's always going to be there, and they still wouldn't okay it. I don't agree with it, and I hope they get it with appeal, and I do hope the decision gets overturned, because at the end of the day, this deal, out of everything, benefits gamers.
I've said this before, that the ABK deal is kind of like shit in the toilet that you're trying to unclog and just get it gone so you can work with more stuff. It's like at this point we just want it done with. I mean, it's like whether Xbox gets it, whether they don't. I mean, there's a lot better studios and publishers out there that I would much rather have Microsoft and Xbox purchase than Activision Blizzard, but of course it's not up to us. So I think all of us just want it done one way or the other,
I agree.
What's funny is though, like Boosteroid came out and said they were against the decision because it's bad for cloud. Literally an hour ago, Nvidia came out and said GeForce Now and other cloud gaming providers stand to gain an even deeper catalogue of games if Microsoft's acquisition of Activision is completed. We see this as a benefit to cloud gaming and hope for a positive resolution. So all the people that are supposedly being protected by this amazing deal, this amazing blockage to not allow it, are all saying, no, we don't want it. We want this deal. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's the weirdest part to me. You have them coming out saying, well, we want this. What are you talking about? You have the gamers basis saying, oh, yeah, this is fine. You have most of the third-party gaming companies that are okay with it. What's the problem?
It sounded like their complaint was, yes, you're allowing it on all these other providers, but you still have to buy it through one of the established storefronts. And it's like, who cares? Like, no one.
You know what was weird, Ghostbuster? One of them that was weird. They were talking about one of their reasoning, at least, and that one from the CMA was, how did they word it? That I got it in my notes too. Hold on one second. They said that the innovation and choice in cloud gaming, right, for their reason for blocking it, and said that it didn't sufficiently allow providers who may want to offer gaming options outside of Windows to do so. So I had to wonder, who the hell outside of Windows would be using cloud like that? What, Stadia? Since that's Linux, isn't Stadia gone?
Yeah, Amazon Luna maybe. But...
Right. So what's the problem? Were you talking about the Mac? The Mac accounts for like what, 8% of gamers? You can't seriously be saying, well, they won't get their 8% of people right there won't get a chance for cloud. That can't be a real argument when 91% are on Windows operating systems.
It's crazy.
It's nonsense.
It's just, I apologize. As a British citizen, I apologize for our absolutely. They don't even know. None of them play video games, but they're all probably like 95-year-old men and women.
Jesus.
Like I say, when they heard cloud gaming, they were probably looking in the sky going, how do you get games up there?
If we stop this, we'll stop the rain from happening. Good work, old chap.
So I do apologise. Our government is terrible. Our agencies are terrible. Hopefully, like I say, this gets rectified. I don't know how, and I don't see much in the way of it changing, or that unless the EU comes out of it. But it does. Everything that's come out sounds like the EU, while they have concerns, are actively trying to sort the concerns with Microsoft, whereas the CMA just were like, "Nah, fuck yeah."
Yeah, they went dark. Remember?
Yeah.
Brad Smith saying that.
So it's a
problem
weird
with like CAT and going to the appeals and things like that, and then for CMA to relook at it, you're looking a minimum of 8 months before they make another decision. Should it go to the appeals? Because we know they're going to go through everything, try and appeal it, and if it does get that far and it does get sent back to CMA to re-review, you're looking at least 8 months before another decision's made, if they overturn it.
You know what this situation is like, right? It's like Xbox is like that guy walking around, and you see him with the girls, EA and Ubisoft, and you're like, oh, he's probably going to pick one of those. And then out of the blue, he comes in with ABK, and you're like, where did he get this broad from? They weren't even hanging out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where? Because you look at Ubisoft wanted to get close to him. You know, EA wanted to get close to him. Hell, most of the EA games, if not all of them, are on Game Pass right now. And then out of nowhere, Activision Blizzard comes in, and you're like, wait. That makes no sense whatsoever, you know? It's just completely ridiculous.
Yeah, so in 80s movies terms, it's like he walked in and the music kicked in or something, huh?
Yeah, just about, you know.
Dolomite, motherfucker.
Right?
Shout out to Muppet for the super chat. CMA Bellends. Yes, they are, mate. Totally. Honestly. You know.
I'm actually amazed at how many people from the UK I see kind of literally taking a dump on the UK, like the CMA, when it comes to this. I've seen a bunch.
It's just like America over there, bud. It's just like
America.
Definitely.
It's like America, but just
we trash America too. That's
we
fair.
all ain't got rifles. That's the difference. That's it.
Yeah, I've seen like real prominent people saying it. Even Jazz, he's like, "You all have too much faith in the UK." I'm like, "What's this?" Like everybody has this kind of negative thought of the UK. I guess was that whole. Well, I don't want to get too political here, but I'm guessing that whole Brexit thing kind of destroyed a lot of confidence in a lot of ways. And I know it's the recession threat over there.
We pulled our trousers down, took a shit and threw it at the EU, and then went, "Why are you not letting us have everything that we used to have?" That's what the UK did.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying
this is how bad it is, though. Yeah, this is how bad it is. Our Prime Minister, his wife, he literally covered up all her businesses and let them be set outside the UK so she didn't have to pay income tax. Not only that, obviously everything that's happening with Russia, Ukraine, it's upsetting, it's sad, and we hope one day some things will be get better and things will be sorted. But obviously every country in the world banks, they stopped all Russian assets, monies, Putin's and all that. But they didn't do, and everyone that was associated with Putin, all their assets got blocked, counts, everything. But they didn't do it to the Prime Minister's wife, who herself and family are actual friends with Putin and have business ties with him. And they still allow them to have access to all their assets, accounts, and everything all over the world. And it's just it just shows how corrupt.
It's interesting you said that, because I was having this back and forth, unnecessary, stupid debate with a guy who I considered somewhat of a buddy on Twitter earlier, right? And all I stated was a simple thing where Microsoft and, from Brad Smith and Lulu Chang Messervy, they're pretty blatant with their threats. Like that was not a very veiled threat, what they said, if you all read what they said. And I was saying, well, because the question was, well, Brad Smith said this, well, what would the CMA do? I said, the CMA won't do shit. What are they? They're not the governing body. They're just they're a bunch of regulators. What are they like? Well, we're going to overrule you more if you keep talking, Microsoft. What are they going to do? They're going to do nothing. So that's all I was saying. So this guy came in, and he's British, and he was, well, America and it's shady. What are you saying? They need to bring their shadiness. I'm like, what are you talking about, brother? All of these governing bodies are shady. America is notoriously shady, sure. The UK is not any better. The UK is shady too. Money talks. That's what I mean? So let's be clear here. I'm not saying that the UK is more shady.
America literally had a war off of who was more shady.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
And my thing is, like, all of them are dirty. It's like and I have to point out, like, it doesn't matter what governing body you go to in this world, as long as there's money involved, there will be corruption. That goes in any country. And the UK is a civilized, well-established country, just like the United States. Of course, they can be corrupted that way. And you just pointed out a great point right there, BMG. How many other things have we not heard about, by the way? I mean, because we still hear things now in the U.S. It's like, oh, the CIA did this too. Oh, the FBI did this too. You know what I mean? So this whole notion that the governing bodies and such, or whomever, can't be corrupt or be bought off or whatever, is a nonsensical lie, not rooted in reality.
Yeah, as obviously, as I know, America do the same when it comes to like elections and things like that. You know, the people that are candidates and stuff, you know, they go round the country, visiting different places, you know, trying to get votes and things. This is how bad it is, right? The Prime Minister now, right? Before he became Prime Minister, he was a candidate, front runner to be Prime Minister, going round all the country, doing talks and things to get people's votes. He went to one of the richest places in the country, right? And nobody was allowed phones, nobody was allowed media, no cameras, no nothing. So he had all these people sat round. And someone luckily sneaked their phone in and recorded him. He openly said he was going to take money and funds from poorer areas and put it where it belongs in the richer areas to look after them. Openly said it. It got leaked on the internet. It was all over the news and everything. And he still got voted in as Prime Minister.
Just remember, though, he wasn't voted in by the general public. He was voted in by his party.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But he openly said...
We've had like 3 prime ministers in like 4 years now.
Goodness gracious!
Openly
what
said,
is happening over there?
I'm going to go around.
And then they voted his replacement in and didn't let you guys vote, and then they quit, and then they didn't let you vote again because of scandals. So.
And he literally said, you know, he's pretty much saying, I'm going to go around every poor place in the country. I'm going to pull the pants down. I'm going to take them from behind without any lube and take the money and smile.
Yeah.
That is, you know, shafted, proper shafted.
Doesn't matter who's in charge. He's man of the people with his £730 million wealth. That's more than twice what our king has.
Jesus.
Because, you know, like, that makes sense. The king has less money than the prime minister, but hey, business.
Yeah, but like, so long as you have money in anything, but particularly politics, there's always going to be room for corruption. We face it here in America all the time. Sentinel, you know it. I know Ham. I know you know it. Like, we don't all talk about politics like that, but as long as you have that, America and most civilized countries are ruled by the businesses, not the other way around. They just don't seem like it. You know, they still give the front of the politicians doing their job. Yeah. But they have lobbyists there that pay them off to push their initiatives and agendas.
You know, a funny thing, Umbra, before I joined the Army, I was getting my hair cut in a barbershop, and I saw a sign on the wall, and it said, the best people to be running the country are cutting hair and driving taxis. And that's true. You know, that's true. Because, I mean, they're just normal people, you know. They're not all about the money. They're just normal people working.
This is another example how bad it is. Our last Prime Minister was called Liz Truss, right? So, and I know it's happening all over the world. Inflation, prices of everything's through the roof. In the UK, our gas and electric is just, you know, literally it's costing more than people's mortgages a month. Like my gas and electric has gone up to £600 a month. That is how expensive it is. It's bad.
I mean,
it's
you
bad.
need to quit telling me stuff, man. I don't need to hear this.
But get this, right? So,
this is just terrible.
I don't know what America. I'm assuming America have the same. Oh, barely.
I must admit though, BMG, what the fuck have you got on in your house? I'm paying about £200 a month now. I mean, like, do you have, like, is it because you're growing pot or something in your attic?
No, I've got... I'm in
real questions.
The ponies have a special diet. That's what it is. The ponies have a special diet.
I'm in a 3-story old Victorian house. I have 3 teenagers, obviously myself, my wife, and we all literally, it costs a fortune to run. It's a nightmare. But, right, Liz Truss, so in the UK government, they can regulate what these companies can increase prices to. They could turn around and say 1% and that's it. But Liz Truss let it go up to 80%. And whose board of directors on that Liz Truss is on? Shell. So she weren't going to cut anything because it would hit not only the company that she's on the board of directors for, but it would also harm her profits and what she makes out of it. So, like you said, companies and businesses run countries, not governments.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy.
Hey, I see Luke Steele in the chat, by the way. He'll be joining me and Daniel tonight on the Fix. That's interesting. He just happened to pop up like that. What's up, Luke? Yeah, I figured we'd be best to get an actual M&A lawyer, right, and talk on the subject. Why not? Because plenty of it's going to be tinged, I guess, my fanboyism, if you will. So why not get somebody who knows exactly what they're talking about? And I saw him, by the way. I saw you, Luke, kind of correcting a comment that False Patents had posted about earlier. So I definitely can't wait to get your take on things tonight.
He's nice. Good. I consider Luke Steele a good friend of mine. You know, we talk quite a lot, and he knows his stuff. You know, I've seen him on Boom Show and stuff like that, where you've got them all talking about stuff they haven't got a clue about, and Luke Steele is always in there telling them what the truth is. You know, he does it for a living. It's his job. He knows how this all works, so he's definitely the perfect man to speak to regards to everything that's going on at the moment.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to see his inbox, though. I bet he's inundated with offers to come on the show. And
big shout out to Timber for the super chat as well. Xbox gamers, don't be afraid. In Phil we trust. Well, fingers crossed, mate. Hopefully June.
I saw the comment that Phil made. Thimber posted about it earlier in the chat. He was saying that regardless of how the ABK situation goes, Microsoft, excuse me, at least Xbox gaming inside of Microsoft still has to move forward and do what they have to do. And they have plans outside of ABK anyway.
You know what? I and it's like that type of statement inspires confidence in me, but to be honest, it's like I'm not worrying about Xbox for Starfield or Redfall. It's all about Forza Motorsport.
That's what you're most hyped for?
Oh yes. I love Forza.
I ain't mad at you.
I love Forza too, but I've come to love Horizon more than the main series. But I'm hoping that I don't have a hate or anything, a dislike rather for the main series. I just prefer the arcade race part more.
Right.
But I can't wait to play the new Motorsport though.
It's gonna be so amazing. You know how it looks, how it handles. Turn 10 is phenomenal for how talented they really are. You know, and it's like they always put out quality games. I can't wait. You know, I'm like so excited. Like if they announced that it was coming out tomorrow, I'd probably fall out of my chair. I'd be like, you know, just losing my mind. Redfall, you know, I'm excited for Redfall and Starfield. Yeah, sure, but Forza Motorsport is like my most anticipated game this year. Definitely.
Sounds like you've got, boy. It does look good. All those games like Motorsport.
You're more hyped for that than Starfield and everything, huh?
Yep. Because I know it's going to be 60 frames per second. Sorry, God, Howard.
Yeah.
Nothing I've seen in Starfield's got me hyped. And not in a bad way. I'm not saying it looked bad. I've never been a fan of Bethesda's big, massive open world game. I don't have enough time to put into them to enjoy them. And Starfield, it just looks like a generic space game to me. So all the other stuff Microsoft announced has me more hyped at the moment than Starfield. I'd rather play Redfall. Out of the two, when they announced them closely, I was more interested in Redfall because it just looked cooler.
See, the thing about main Bethesda games with Todd Howard, though, is that even though they might look a certain way, and they purposely went with a kind of grounded look for Starfield, is that even with that big world, I get what you're saying on that, because it is expansive worlds, and they're already telling us you're going to have 1,000+ planets and such to go through. The bigger thing is the story, and that's what always drives me forward with Bethesda games. From stepping out of that sewer / prison in Oblivion
Oh, that was great. That was amazing. I love.
You see what I mean? Exactly, and that's still on my Mount Rushmore right now. That game, just moments like that you never forget. You know what I mean? So I expect to have that in Starfield too. So you got to look at it a little differently. I think we do get that fatigue of these games that have all this open world traversal, and it kind of tires you out. But what really matters is the Starfields we meet along the way.
Right.
No, I said I didn't like Bethesda games. I loved Oblivion. Like, and when you got out of that sewer and it was bright, it was green, it was lush, you were like, "This is next gen." Like, you were blown away.
That's exactly how I felt. Yep.
Skyrim never appealed to me. It just looked grey and brown. It just looked dark and murky, and it wasn't the bright. Admittedly, Oblivion looks a lot more fake than Skyrim does, but Oblivion was that game. Oblivion was the game that got me into that. I knew I'd made a good choice buying an Xbox 360 when I played Oblivion. I was like, "This
100%
is
agree." I do agree with you on the whole color palette thing. I think Todd Howard and them could learn to kind of step out of their way and kind of embrace color more.
Yeah,
you know, I do agree with you there.
He's talking about Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
But
even Final Fantasy
what the hell?
Live Expedition alone.
But some of the landscapes in Final Fantasy 16 are, 16 is fairly colorful, like from what I've seen. But you know, I think the big star for that game is going to be the combat, which I'm a big fan of because I love Devil May Cry. But no, it's just in general, I think Todd Howard and team could kind of learn to use a little bit more vibrance because it does draw the eye in. I mean, you look at a game like Horizon, and you see that how it looks on his next gen, you know, on PlayStation 5, and you're like, man, like clearly that's a beautiful game. And feel however you may feel about it overall or the character,
right? But I agree.
You know, it's a vibrant, beautiful world. You know, so I do want to see more of that from Xbox too, personally. And I would love for Bethesda to kind of embrace that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, it's like if they say there's hundreds of planets and stuff, why not show a jungle planet, or why not show a planet that has more color to it? Because I mean,
we're gonna get that though in June. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean in June, but it's like you got to be building hype the whole way. You want people so crazy that by the time it comes out, they're like ripping them off store shelves. That's how you want to do it. Or if you got it on Game Pass, if you have, like, let's say 50 million people that are subscribed to Game Pass, 49 million of them need to be playing your game. That's how crazy you need to make people about your game, and then you're going to drive people to it. Everybody will be talking about it. It's going to win Game of the Year, or at least it's going to come close. You're not going to have people, oh, I don't know, that game doesn't look for me. Everybody's going to be crazy for it. That's how Microsoft and Xbox needs to be making their gamers with every big game that they have in the lineup. They need everybody to be talking about it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that's, I mean, like, we still haven't countered things, and people keep saying, like, and I think people are too dismissive because they're just like, well, Xbox is doing their own thing. Sure. But PlayStation makes their games look like it's the premier platform, and that's what I want Microsoft to start doing. We get the Forzas, they're always beautiful. That is a certainty. So we're not worried about that. You get the Gears. The Gears are typically always a certainty. You're not really worried about that. It's going to look good in Unreal. But you need to have, I think, they need to have a bit more of those third person, over the shoulder, kind of expansive worlds, beautiful worlds, showcase the action. They need more of that, I think. And they're doing it. I mean, you got Fable coming up, you got Avowed. You know, that's not third person, but you get what my point is. You're going to see more vibrance. You're going to see more color. You're going to see more action. That's what they need. So I think they're going in the right direction. We just haven't gotten to that point yet. That's the only problem. You know, it's just taking a second. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, hopefully this summer they blow everyone away with what they're going to show us. Hopefully, I got my fingers crossed.
I can't wait. I'm just hoping for Fable. Show me Fable.
The last like ever since this year started, I've been like envisioning what I am gonna feel like in December. Like, because in my opinion, this is or should be like the year for gaming, in my opinion. I mean, we have all platforms coming out with not just high profile, but extremely high profile games. Zelda from Nintendo, Starfield, which a lot of people for the last few years have been saying, Master Chief, move over.
Yeah.
And then obviously for PlayStation, you got Spider-Man, which everybody and their mama wants to play that game. So like, I'm just really interested in, after all these games come out and before the Game Awards tries to sway anybody's, decision on what's really great and what's not. I'm just like, I'm still kind of taken back a little bit that this year is as insane as it is, and it's going to be this insane only just a little, like just a few months over halfway through the year, which is wild. So I'm very much curious what could possibly be in the pipeline for any of these platforms. October, November, December.
You know what?
Because we don't know a whole lot about the end of the year.
You know what? If Xbox proves that they have been listening to gamers and they announce, hey, you know what? We have a Dread game in development by Coalition and it's going to be Xbox exclusive. A lot of PlayStation gamers are going to shit their pants. I'm just throwing that out there.
You keep beating this Dread game. It ain't coming.
Oh, Dread. We need Dread. Dread would be so insane. No, I bring up Dredd though. I bring up Dredd because Judge Dredd, he's not the only guy. There's other judges. So you could have 4-player co-op, split screen. You could have like Mega City 1. There's like, you look at the landscape in the movie with what's his name, Carl Urban. There's like 100 of those. So that's like the perfect setup for a game that the Coalition could make.
Only if when we play, I can play as Sylvester Stallone and BMG is Rob Schneider. Like,
oh my god,
because that's the best version.
Oh, I can't believe you're saying this.
I am the law.
I am the law.
That was like the worst movie Stallone ever made, including The Specialist with Sharon Stone.
No, it wasn't. I am the law.
That was horrible.
You love it. Should we jump into some we'll quickly run through some of the more positive topics. There's not a huge amount other than that. There has been some positive.
Hey, before we did, I do have a kind of pressing time thing for me, guys. But also I wanted to say, that the FTC stepped out and said something about that whole situation of speculation, right? I just saw the tweet about it. The FTC asserts that it absolutely did not collude with the CMA in regards to the Microsoft Activision merger.
Oh.
And did they have a picture? No. Did they have that picture with the monkey looking shifty?
Yeah. Isn't that something? See, it clearly got to their ears about it. So
well, because the FTC is already getting a lot of heat from all these different lawmakers in the United States. Because they said, why are you protecting PlayStation and you're fighting Xbox? But PlayStation's in first place. So I think as soon as they woke up, and they read that on Twitter, they spit their coffee all over the computer screen, and then they're like, shit, we got to get on top of this. That's pretty much how it happened. Because they're trying to beat it before it gets worse than it already is. Oh. Yeah. Crazy.
If you have to go, Ham, just say, and we'll let you go. We're not forcing you to
I got about 5 more.
You got 5 more, right? Well,
about 5, yeah.
We'll quickly talk through some positives. I say positives. They've announced this month's games with gold for May. So,
you said positives. Come on.
You tricked us.
That's how I'm leaving.
You lied to us, damn you.
There's never a month games with gold that's positive.
Star Wars episode 1 races.
You know what? Right. Yeah, the Star Wars Racer, May 1st to May 31st, and then Hoa, May 16th to June 15th. Now, that is a 2D puzzle platforming game.
Did you just call us a bunch of Hoas?
Hoa. It's a game where you got to put the square peg in the round hole.
Yeah, whore. You're calling us whores.
Right.
No, but the Star
both
Wars
both
Racer,
of
I'm
them are
actually
cheap
going to
games.
grab. Why not?
They're worth like $30 between them.
Yeah,
And
I'll grab
compared
that
to,
Star
like,
Wars Racer. I haven't had that one, so
I've got that.
Yeah.
I bought that cheap off of like a. I think I don't think it was an eBay, but I got it cheap online. It's just the port of the old. Was it Dreamcast?
No, it's not.
or
No. Aspire's actually remastered it. It's if you look at it, it's optimized for the Series S and X.
It is, but it's still
nice.
it's exactly the same game. I've played it. There's nothing new added.
what
It's
from
the
the
same.
64 or whatever, or from the
Yeah.
Dreamcast or whatever it was. From
Yeah,
back then?
it's pretty much the exact same game, but like with like up-res textures, and it works.
Think
on
GoldenEye. Yeah, think GoldenEye.
GoldenEye, yeah.
Okay.
Which isn't bad. And then the indie puzzle game is it's a very pretty game. Like I say, it looks gorgeous, but it won't be everyone's cup of tea. But like I say, yet again, it's two cheap ass games compared to what we used to get for, and then PlayStation's getting like actually semi decent games. Would just kill games with gold now. Like, it's nice to get free games, but kill them and just give us an extra Game Pass game or two every month.
I'm gonna say what my buddy Matt Likes Games always says. He says, "You guys need to stop doing games with gold and just throw the team a pizza party with the money. Like
There you go.
quit giving us these like $5 games every month. Like,
I think
nobody
that's why
wants.
the games have shrunk, because they're actually spending it on parties and stuff instead. They're like, well, we've got this much funds this month for games. Now they're like, nah, cut it down to 2. We'll get pissed. It'll be fine.
I think they just got to find a way to do something with that right there. It's dead. It's it's like a dried up horse at this point. No shade to the ponies, but it's just a dried up horse at this point. It's like nobody really looks forward to it anymore. They have to find a way to either revitalize it or move it into something else that's more beneficial to us. That's what I would say. Maybe maybe move it to one game or something that's bigger or better. I don't know.
You know what? I feel like people would actually complain less if they just said, hey, you know what? You're paying $5 a month for multiplayer, and they didn't give them any games. Because then it's like you're not insulting them with, by saying, hey, look, we got games for you, and the games are crap, and then everyone's like, I don't like those games.
You might be right. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. I mean, most of us get Game Pass Ultimate already, though, so it's kind of like,
true.
Yeah,
that's why I said maybe they need to fold it into Game Pass Ultimate somehow. Do some type of incentive with that or something. I don't know what they could do, but
yeah, maybe I
don't know.
You want me to play any of those games? You better put it in like some sort of quest.
Right,
money. You need to pay me to play these games.
Right? Yep.
Pay to play. Did you guys see anything about that Asus ROG Ally?
Oh, that looks nice. That's $699, isn't it? Or something like that.
It's basically confirmed too. It's on Best Buy. They got an advert for it. $699.99.
Nice.
Yeah, I do like that. It's like it's basically a Steam Deck, isn't it? But it runs Windows and it's natively, which sounds great. So
yeah, it's a much more powerful version of the Steam Deck. Yeah, I might get it. I'm tempted.
Yeah,
I just turned my Steam Deck into a Windows.
Depends what it comes out as when it gets over to the UK. Because there's a thing going on at the moment where like they release the price in America and then it comes to the UK and it's exactly the same price but in pounds. So really, it's extortionate. It's like, oh, it's $500, and then it comes to the UK and it's £500, which is like $600, and you're like, what? What's going on? So we'll have to see how that comes out for us on our end.
Yeah. I better get. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
It's that time, Ham.
Yeah, it's that time, brother. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Ham Solo. Before you go, let everyone listening to our podcast know where they can find you at.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate everybody that came through. Whether you are part of the channel on TSWS or this is some people that I'm seeing for the first time, possibly in the chat as well. You can come check me out on my channel, TSWS Gaming, on YouTube. You may have seen me in the chat. Here, I'll say hi right there. Hi. Anyways, that's where you can find me at on on YouTube, and then on Twitter, it's at HamSolo05 Gaming over there. But you guys, I appreciate the offer to come through. I'd love to come back and do this again with you guys.
Definitely.
Whenever you need me, just holler. I'm more than happy to come through. But yeah, I gotta get going. Gotta go pick up the dog.
All right, Ham. Later, brother.
Later.
Take care, mate.
See you later, mate. Thanks for coming. Oh, now we can't see the background. That disappoints me.
I know, right?
Oh,
You're singing Backstreet Boys. Oh my God, no.
Backstreet's back. All right.
Going back to the 90s. Oh.
Everybody. Yeah. Rock your body. I love the black. Hey, listen. I love Backstreet, Black Street. Yeah, you can't shame me. Everybody.
Normally it's BMG singing on our podcasts.
Is it?
Yep.
Take my breath away.
Oh.
Right, let me find the next topic while BMG sings a song too quickly.
80s showdown, BMG. You next. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Like a bat out of hell.
You brought a lot of energy. Talking away. I don't know what to say. I'll say it anyway.
Wow.
Never gonna give you up.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
Oh.
I agree to that, Darth. Praxis, every physical copy of game should be shipped with a digital copy, like Blu-ray disc. Damn right
Yeah.
it should. Remember when the PSP did that? You got the physical and then you got like the digital version as well. Ah, good times. Or was it the Vita? One of them.
Yeah.
For a period they did that. Right, what have I got here? So, Microsoft has reported its second best quarter three for Xbox revenue. So, I'm just going to run through these because you've probably already seen them. Basically, they announced its third fiscal quarter that ended on March 31st, 2023. So, Xbox content and services was up 3% year over year, driven by growth in Xbox Game Pass, which is obviously the biggest money generator for Xbox. However, it wasn't all sunshines and roses. Hardware revenue was down 30% year on year, but that's because they're not selling any consoles. There don't seem to be any in shops. You can't get a Series X anywhere new at the moment. I feel like they're holding on to them, ready for some big games this second half of the year, and they're building up stock ready, but Sony seem to have fixed their issues, and Xbox is slightly lagging in that department. I think they've been focusing a lot on cloud, which is a shame. And gaming revenue overall declined 4% year over year. Third quarter gaming revenue declined 4% year over year to 3.59 billion. So while that is not ideal, it only trails the 3.74 billion generated by the same quarter last year. So it's down slightly, but it's also the second best in history, which isn't bad at all when you think about it. So it's not too bad. It's just life.
That's life. That's what they say.
Oh, no. Yep. Now you're going to be singing the whole episode.
Down in April, but back up in May. Bit of Frank
I don't know
Sinatra
what
for
else to
you.
talk about, really. I'm just having to see. There was that whole thing. I'm not going to even go into it, but Aaron Greenberg confirmed Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for Xbox after the confusing social media debacle that was everyone thinking it was good and it wasn't good and it was a failure and it.
Yeah, well, I think people misunderstood, I guess, what Jeff Grubb was saying. That's where a lot of that came from.
Yeah, exactly. It was just misconstrued, and he did come out and put an apology and stuff like that. That he didn't know like solid numbers and stuff like that. He was just passing like third party knowledge on that someone had spoken in passing to him.
Right.
You're right, Thimber. Quantum Break is back on Xbox Game Pass and on Xbox to buy, which is great news. They've obviously sorted those licensing issues out. fantastic. But the one thing I will talk about before we go into 20 questions is, made me chuckle that they announced this on the same day of the CMA announcement. Like, oh yeah, that's bad, but guess what, guys? We've got more controllers for Xbox. So they've introduced some limited edition Redfall controllers with Xbox Design Labs. Now, these actually look really nice. So they're inspired by the 4 main characters and like the main bad guy by the looks, or like by a vampire. I'm trying to just see if there's a price for them. I dread to think, to be fair.
Probably about $89.99. They look pretty dope,
something like that. But you can do it in Design Labs, so you can sort of pick and choose bits of them. In the UK, they start at $69.99. So you can basically choose your sort of top case designs based on Redfall, side grips, battery door engravings, color palettes, and stuff like that. I'll just put it on screen quickly for those who may have missed it, even though it's been everywhere. If you're watching at home, you can just go on the website and have a look. You can't seem to do it through the Xbox. I had it on the dash this morning saying, check out these new custom Redfall pads, and you couldn't actually. I clicked on it and it wouldn't actually do anything. It just opened up a QR code, and I was like, well, that's a bit naff. But that red and black one in the middle is absolutely gorgeous.
My favorite colors, red and black.
Yeah,
the thing is, like all of them actually look really good, though. That's the thing that surprised me.
Yeah, I'm old school. I like red and black for the wolf pack. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the gray and blue and I guess black one over there to the far left. I even like the one that's based off of what's her name? Is it I forgot her name in the game. But the girl with the telekinesis next to it to the right.
Yeah.
With the boom right there. I mean, all of them look pretty.
I think her name is Layla.
Layla, that's it. That's it. Layla, you got me on my knees, Layla.
That's a nice controller. I know if I showed it to my daughter, she'd probably want it.
Yeah. I feel like
definitely.
that was a dig right there. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm just saying because my daughter likes the purple and the black, and
Yeah. No, it looks dope though, man. I even like if you see the little pulse going through the Xbox symbol right there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I will say about Xbox, they make some crazy controllers.
Why
really
not get
really good designs?
Like they're doing Starfield controller, but not a console. Give us some limited edition console. Like they shit the bed with Diablo 4, not doing a Diablo 4 console.
You know what? It's like they could do a Series X Redfall controller where you press the button to turn on the console and it's not white. It glows red. That would be crazy.
I don't know why they don't.
I've used all the special controllers. I bought the the one that had the signature from Phil on the back of it.
The anniversary
one.
Yeah.
I had the Sea of Thieves one. I've used that to death. I got my son the Forza Horizon 4 one, the clear yellow one. The only one I haven't actually played with, but I've put it on display, is the XO19 one. That's all like with the London landmarks and stuff like that. So I just can't bear to play with it because it's going for like £300 online, and I'm like, that's like me. If I ever need money to pay for rent or something, I'm just going to sell it. There's only like 1,000 of them in the world.
I don't know why they don't embrace custom consoles. Like they have the shells they can make. Like custom shells you can sell out.
They could literally just give you like a plastic sleeve to go over it.
That's what I'm saying. Like a shell. Put that out there. They have those. I've seen.
Remember they had the face plates for the 360. They were everywhere. I used to love that.
Exactly. Me too.
And at least with these like the Series X, you could literally just flat pack it. It wouldn't take up much space.
Yeah.
I tell you, missing out on it.
That could even go the sticker route if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of missed opportunities here, in my opinion. And if they don't have anything for Starfield, I don't know what to say.
I mean, they need to, because it's like you look at how PlayStation advertises and how PlayStation leans into people wanting to really buy into their services and products and stuff. it feels like Xbox and Microsoft is just like they're behind, and there's so much of an opportunity really for them to capitalize, on Redfall hype, on Starfield hype, on Forza hype, with custom controllers, sure, but with with advertising you see on TV, with the custom systems. I mean, it's just it's disappointing, that it's almost like they're not tracking this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Aaron Greenberg is in charge of their marketing. And it's like, what are you doing? Because you got people like myself. I have a degree, but I didn't get one in marketing. But I can see like 50 different opportunities. And I'm sure he has a degree in marketing. So it's like, man, what are you doing? You're missing all these great opportunities. You could increase interest in your products and your services by as much as 100% if you marketed them correctly. That's all it takes.
You've got an Xbox fridge and an Xbox toaster. What more do you want?
The toaster wasn't real in the end, I don't think. They haven't officially announced it.
Right.
Oh, they're not on the toaster. I've got an Xbox mini fridge.
I want a mini fridge. I just haven't got a need for a mini fridge at the moment.
No, you don't want it. It sounds like a base PlayStation 4 about to take off.
You've heard that light. I got my son one of those like Xbox big stand lights from B&M. Oh my god, it shakes the floor. It's that loud. Honestly, if you're interested, if you go on our YouTube channel, look on the shorts after the show. It's only like a minute long. Oh my god, it sounds like they've strapped 4 PS4s together and then tried to install something at the same time. It's so loud. It's like you can't even have it on. Do you know what I mean? It's just supposed to be a light.
Just a little bit more on the Redfall news while we're talking about it. They have just dropped the last story trailer not so long ago for the game, which absolutely makes the game look really, really good. But also, I think it was Windows Central that got it first, I think. They've actually seen the physical release copies of Redfall, and obviously on the box it says games 4K, Ultra HD, HDR10, 60 frames a second, but then there's a sticker on the back of the box that says 60 frames will not be available at launch.
Not a good look. Not a good look. Yeah.
No.
Well, you know why they're doing that, right? You heard about that lady that sued one of the movie studios because they showed a character in a movie trailer that wasn't in the actual movie, and she sued and won.
Really?
Yeah, because the court was like, you know what? She's right. That character wasn't in the movie. I don't remember which it was. It was in California, I believe.
She must have done something to that judge behind the scenes.
All right, I don't know.
How the hell do you rule in favor of something?
I know, but now everyone is like, you got movies, you got games. They're like, oh crap, because
you know what it reminds me of, Sentinel. It reminds me of that one case in McDonald's way back.
Yes,
with the lady with the hot coffee. Remember that?
Yeah, and that opened the door for all kinds of crazy lawsuits.
Yeah.
My whole point though is that sticker could be a result of that. They say, hey, you know what? We don't want to get accused of false advertising. Because there will be some people out there that are heated that buy the game and they're like, hey, it says 60 on the back, it won't do 60. I know, I'm checking it on my computer right now. And you're like, oh my God. So avoiding that debacle, they put the sticker. Yeah, it's going to piss some people off, but it protects them. So it is what it is, I guess.
I was going to say they could just like change the box information, but I guess that's probably too much cost to do that now.
Yeah, apparently it's also too much to expect 60 frames per second from Bethesda. But I'm just saying. Hey, I can be critical of Xbox. If they drop the ball, I'm going to call it out. That's just how it is.
You wait till Starfield drops.
At 30 frames per second.
Right.
Yep.
60, baby.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, it's interesting because I had come to find later that, Arcane Austin here hadn't actually made any game at nothing edited more than 30 frames per second.
Ooh, that's not good.
So I guess we were kind of expecting more, and they just weren't ready to give us that.
Thinking that.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's like Colt Eastwood even pointed this out that a lot of the trailers and stuff was 60 frames per second.
They were. And
when they flew him out to play the game, that they were playing on PC rigs, and the PC rigs couldn't even do 60 locked. They were dropping to like 30, 35.
Well, where did he say that? Because he didn't. None of them said that. None of them said it.
He had a big YouTube video where he came out and said it and admitted it. It was after. It was afterwards.
It was a bit after.
Yeah, afterwards. Yeah. None of them that went to that press conference and like that play thing, none of them said anything about frame rate.
Right.
Well, they ain't trying to burn the bridges, though. That's what it is.
That's it. They were more bothered about getting freebies than telling the truth.
You're not wrong, Ghostbuster. And I had Colt on my first episode of The Fix, 3 weeks back now, and that came up. That topic came up. So I asked him. I said, "Hey, you want to come through the show tonight, brother?" Just kind of threw it out there. He's like, "Yeah, I give you 30 minutes." Blah blah blah. I didn't need him for a long time, just for that specific subject, and he ended up staying for like 45 minutes. But that part absolutely did come up, and you're not wrong. A lot of people kind of got at him specifically, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the smoke because he is a fairly big name. It wasn't mentioned by him, but all those other guys didn't say anything either.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Snowbike Mike from the kind of funny games. He went out to the Redfall preview, and when he did his impressions of the preview, he actually said live on show, he asked the devs that were there, because obviously they were playing PC, he asked them what it would run at on console, and he was told, we are not talking about console at the moment.
You know what? And it's funny because Colt Eastwood said the exact same thing in one of his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
He said the exact same thing.
About it. They would not talk about the console.
I'm not saying they
version.
didn't address it, but they didn't make a big deal of it. It gets pushed under to keep.
Well, and I think some of these guys,
they were your clickbait thumbnails and everything. You can't.
Yeah. Well,
it were good, but it might not be 60 FPS. It doesn't look as good on the thumbnail, does it?
Well, they're big time Xbox guys. I think they were just trying not to create what you call a fire sale where everyone's running and oh god, and they're panicking. They were trying not to do that, so they were like, how do I present this? Where, because these guys are big time Xbox guys. It's not like Colt Eastwood is known to be a PlayStation gamer. He might own a PS5, but he's not known as a PlayStation guy. He's known as an Xbox guy. So if he comes out and says Redfall is dog shit, it's basically like throwing a cinder block through a huge glass window. It's just
if it's dog shit, he should say it's dog shit. I'm not saying it is dog shit. I'm not saying he's not. But
you're right.
I've literally been turned down for review codes pretty recently because I've been less than positive when I've reviewed games for the companies before.
Yeah.
If it's shit, I'll say it's shit.
I guess it's a delicate line. You got to kind of tiptoe, especially at that level where Colt is now. But I do agree. Like it does.
I don't want to single Colt out though. Like I said, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's
not specific to him. Exactly.
It's aimed at all of that sort of.
And I agree because, like I said, like you said, the same thing I said. It's people were coming at Colt and said, "Well, what about everybody else? You all didn't say anything to the other people who literally were there and said nothing either." This is my first time hearing about Snowbike Mike actually saying it. So that's interesting, but. Most everyone else didn't say that, so I don't think it's not fair to try to pinpoint it on him specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I get it, man. It's definitely something that we should have been made aware of. But ultimately, that comes back down to Arcane at the end of the day.
Yeah,
no one else but Arcane and Microsoft.
I think they thought they were going to hit it in time, and they didn't. They just couldn't get it done. Like that's why it was on the boxes. That's why it's on the Xbox store listings and stuff.
And they didn't want to delay it again, because it got delayed from last year. So
they thought they would hit it, and then unfortunately, they're like instead of it. Do you know what? It might run at 60, like 70% of the time, but it's not worth putting it out saying it's 60 because
unlocked and all of that, and it's all over the place.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me though. They've put 30. It wouldn't surprise me if it hits higher than 30, but just not all the time. Do you know what I mean? But instead of having the backlash later where they said, "Oh, you've said it's 60 and it's not," they've just said, "Well, no, we can't, it'll come later or something." I don't know.
Do you all feel they should have delayed it?
No.
Yes.
No. You know what? It's like because they already delayed it, from last year. And I know
Starfield too, like that. So
yeah, you know what? And we all joke about 60 frames per second, but it was only recently that you had like Far Cry 5 got the 60 frames per second, and all that stuff. So
Valhalla ran like dog shit at launch, and I still played it to death. And no one cared.
We're still accustomed to playing games at 30 frames per second. It's not like I tell my wife, it's not the Cadillac experience. You know what I'm saying? 60 frames per second is what I would call the Cadillac experience, you know, where it's the nice leather seats and it's smooth riding. That's 60 frames per second for console gamers. PC gamers, you know, like Luke Steele had said before, I mean, he's got a nice PC, so he can run games 60 frames per second or faster all day long. But for console gamers, there's no settings we can really tweak to address that. That's all handled by the developers. So, you know, it's like 30 frames per second is fine, but we really, really want 60 frames per second, especially when they're saying crazy stuff like 4K at 120 frames per second on the box. And some games on the Xbox Series X run at 120 frames per second, 4K.
Look at Halo. Look at Halo Infinite.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, you know, they can't delay it because they've already delayed it, you know, twice?
No, just once. I don't think that matters necessarily. Yeah. I don't think they can't do it because of that. I mean, Starfield is a prime example. Again, they delayed it twice.
Yeah.
So if they can delay that twice, they can delay this twice. I think, though, somebody made a comment to me when I brought that up. I think they pointed out, I think it might have been Colt. He said that he thought that because of the cadence of games they're going to have releasing this fall, it wouldn't have been conducive to their plans to have it released and stack up on top of each other the way they're going to be stacking later this year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's possible.
It's going to be a busy end of year, I think.
It really is.
I think we're going to be eating well.
Oh yeah, eating good.
It'll be interesting to see how Redfall reviews, because it's that's the thing that people are going to keep coming back to, is the whole 60 frames thing. It's that I think Redfall, I do generally think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to play well. It looks amazing, and it's going to be a fun time. But I think a lot of reviewers and the news and the journalists and things, that's the thing that it's going to lose the points on the score is the frame rate, and it's a shame. I would delay it, even if they know 60 frame, you're going to have the performance patch in a month or two. Delay it a month or two. Delay it a couple of weeks before Starfield drops out, or a couple of weeks after. I know we've got the showcase coming up, so we'll have a better idea of what's even coming this year. But was it Miyamoto that said a delayed game's eventually a good game?
But
yeah, but a bad game is forever bad. Yeah,
their content recently has been shocking.
You know what? I feel like that quote came out before they were able to patch and update games, though. Yeah. Because you look at Cyberpunk and people say it's great now. You know, so
yeah.
But mentally, people are always going to remember how it came out.
Yeah, because first impressions are lasting ones. That's right. Yep.
And I love
one shot at making a first impression.
You only got one chance to not use your shot. No, let me stop.
Right. Yep.
No, but it's just a mental impression you get from the first time of it. And in a lot of these games nowadays, now we pay full price to get patched games that you're not getting the full thing of, and it's getting tiresome. I will agree. It's getting tiresome because it's like, can we give our payments and installments too until we get the full game? Or, you know, so I get it. It's just tiresome to keep dealing with it, and it seems like we're kind of the beta testers a little bit to these games.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think that gets us to the end of our topics. So we're going to quickly jump into a very quick game of...
Who is picking the game this time?
Not me.
I've got one if you want one, but are you welcome to if you want Sentinel?
Oh, you know what? I got a game in mind.
Go on then. You can be that.
And I know whether it's in the past or the future, BMG.
God damn it.
I want to just explain the rules quickly, BMG, to anyone who's new and may not have a clue what we're on about.
At the end of... Usually we just play this on the PSN Party Podcast, but last week and this week we are playing Video Game 20 Questions. And the way the game works is the host, or in this case, Sentinel, has a game in mind, and the panel has 20 questions to guess what the game is. It can only answer yes and no. If things are a bit vague, you can kind of bend a little to help to not mislead the panel. But the last question has to be the guess of the game. At any point, if we guess the game and we are wrong, then we lose. We can't just start reeling off games, and because that kind of takes the fun out of it. But other than that, Sentinel, over to you, dude.
Right. So you definitely got a game then, Sentinel.
Yeah, I do. I just had to pull up the document so that I can make sure that I have like when it released and all this other stuff correct. So I'm not pulling, a BMG and getting all kinds of stuff wrong so people almost lose.
I saved yours.
Oh, you saved us because then you're like, thinking to yourself, oh shit, I gave them some wrong details.
No. If I didn't give you the hint that it was based on a licensed IP, you would have been nowhere near. And that was before you asked that stupid.
Oh, yep. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm ready when you are.
Right. Was it released on the 360... PS3 360 generation onwards?
No,
so it's prior to the 360.
Should we ask if you play as a human, maybe? Because then that could narrow out. Yeah, but it could narrow some games down. Or do we ask it? I don't know.
It's up to you, man.
Should we ask if they wear a hat?
Oh my god, BMG. You're almost going to get banned from asking questions, you know that?
Was it an exclusive game?
No.
No, not an exclusive.
Was it published? No. Do we go developed or published in Japan? What do you reckon?
Publisher makes it easy because developer is very hit and miss in it.
Just to obviously let chat know and Umbra know as well. We're not allowed to use PCs, phones, or anything to try and find information. We have to do it all off our own gaming knowledge.
Yeah. If you do hear us typing, we have through our thing we do our shows through. We have like a private chat, so we tend to post. Like I'm currently writing down all the answers that Sentinel gives us, so we don't forget.
They're cheating. Don't believe them.
You can also cheat as well. You're welcome if you click on the little private chat thing. You should be able to see it.
I see it. I just don't see that much typing in there. So you all hear the click clacks, and I don't see it in this private chat. I'll let you know.
So it's prior to the 360 generation. It wasn't exclusive. Was this? What did Ash? Ash, did we say? Well, developer or publisher?
Publisher.
Was this published by a Japanese company?
For everyone outside of Europe, yes.
Oh, hang on. Outside
what?
Europe.
It's not going to be as hard to guess as you think, but some of these games from a little older had multiple publishers.
Yeah, they did.
Wait, so how does this work? You all ask the question to a specific person, or you just ask it out loud?
Yeah, Sentinel has the game, knows the game, and we're asking Sentinel. So
we're trying to figure out the game he's got. So we've got to ask him. He can only answer yes or no. But if things can be a bit vague, he can give us a little bit more info.
We take turns doing it.
Yeah.
Just jump in. Yeah, just jump in if you've got a question.
So what is that? 3 questions so far? Yes.
Yeah. So we've got 16 questions left. Plus the final guess, which has to be.
But we can talk amongst us three, Ash chat, try and get questions to narrow it down. So we know it was prior to the 360 generation. It was non-exclusive, and outside of Europe, it was published by a Japanese publisher.
Yeah, Japanese publisher.
So you're saying that he's saying that it was a Xbox OG game, he's saying?
Well, it could be. It's not exclusive, so it could be PlayStation, Nintendo. It's prior to 360, so it could be Sega.
Okay.
It could be arcade.
Do we try and narrow down the genre, or do we try and narrow down the generation? What do you fancy?
What genre? What genre is it?
You have to ask yes or no questions.
It can only ask yes or no.
Gotcha. That's right. Okay. What's the best way to do this?
Is it an FPS? Is it a fighter? Is it a third?
We could ask pick 3 genres. Ask if is it a fighting, racing, or sim game, and then if he says yes, then it narrows it down to the 3 instead of asking about 8 questions on individual genres.
You've got to ask questions to narrow it down again.
Yeah, but it's better than asking about 6 or 7 of them.
Oh man, you're as bad as Fabio, BMG. You're as bad as Fabio.
Is this a third-person perspective game?
Yes.
Is it well known?
Right.
Yeah.
So, the question we have to pick games that most people would know. It can't be like.
Okay, so it can't be too obscure. You're saying?
Yeah, it's not going to be like a weird.
Okay, so that doesn't count for my question then.
Ignore that one. Basically. Ignore half of the games with gold games because
we can ignore the horror game. Yeah, the hua. All right, so it's a well-known game because that's how it has to be for the rules of this game.
Yeah, it's got to be something that we've all know of.
Right.
Not necessarily we might have not played it, but we very well would have.
Is it part of a franchise?
It's a third-person action, or at least a third-person game. It's part of a franchise outside of Europe, published by a Japanese studio or a publisher, rather.
It's part of a franchise that's no longer active. How about that?
That was going to be my next question if it was still active. So
I consider that a free one.
Okay, thank you, Sentinel.
A franchise that's no longer active. It's third person. Came out before the 360.
Do we ask maybe is the primary way of combat-wise in this game shooting guns, something like that? Would that help?
If you want, mate. It's you make these weird, long questions.
Is the main focus of the combat in this game using guns?
Yes.
See? It paid off.
Yeah, it did. Very good.
That narrows it down to about 11,000 games.
You could always listen to Chad. I mean, sometimes Chad has good questions.
Yeah. All right, then. All right. Was it... I'll ask one. Was it an arcade game?
No.
There you go.
Nope.
Well, no. I wouldn't say it's... Do we ask if it's got like 3D graphics or a side scroller, something like that?
If you ask if it's 3D,
well, he said third person already, so if it's third person,
yeah, true, good point.
I'm imagining that it's got to be 3D. I'm hoping that's what he meant, because that'll be 2D.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 3D, which then narrows it down to pretty much N64 onwards, because there was only like 3D SNES games, and they weren't shooters, third-person shooter games. It's going to be like, do you know what? No, it's not going to be that because that's still active.
Well, it's going to be nothing like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Medal of Honor, or anything like that, because they're all still active franchises, aren't they?
Medal of Honor's dead, but it's not third person.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. Sorry, yeah, because like Call of Duty, they added the option in, didn't they, later? No, it's called third person. So outside of Europe, it was published by a Japanese publisher. What Japanese publishers? Got like your Square Enix, your Capcom.
There you go.
What about Resident Evil? No, Resident Evil's still around. It can't be that. It can't be anything like.
And he said it's outside Europe. Outside Europe, but published by a Japanese publisher.
Yeah, in Europe, it was published by a different company.
So it's two different companies that published it, depending on where it was at.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Usually, outside that 505, they usually do the publishing, don't they? On that side of stuff.
Yeah, they do a lot.
You said it was part of a franchise, didn't you?
Yeah,
but it's no longer active.
Shooter, third person.
Should we ask if it's like a horror game or a sci-fi genre?
Yeah.
I mean, you could ask if it's set in the past or the future, BMG.
Get fucked.
Well, it's in the past, but maybe the game world is set in the future.
Right.
Back to the Future game. That'll really fuck you up.
No, I mean it's.
That's it now that I'm gonna pick a time travel game for one.
You know what? I'm actually gonna give you I'm gonna give you a free one. This is actually for the genre or for the system. One of the systems that this launched for. This is in the top 100 games of all time.
For that console, you're saying.
Which happened to be a pretty popular console.
Gotcha.
Might be the most popular console that we've ever had. Possibly.
Did it launch on the PS2?
Yes.
There you go.
But it wasn't exclusive to the PS2.
Oh.
But it launched on the PS2.
Franchise. It's a shooter. Wait, it's not a shooter. It's the...
What about Siphon Filter? Because that's not around anymore. They had...
Siphon Filter was an exclusive.
Yeah, it's not.
Was it?
Yeah, it was exclusive to PlayStation. This one wasn't.
Exclusive.
Max Payne, that's no longer around. They had free games.
Well, I mean, are you guessing or are you just speculating?
No, I'm talking. I'm speculating. Talking to my.
Well, no, I'm just making sure because you said is it Max Payne? Like I was like, oh.
No. I am not. I'm not asking you.
Max Payne wasn't published by a Japanese company, though.
No.
No, it was Rockstar, wasn't it? Was it Rockstar?
Rockstar,
yeah.
It was Remedy and then Rockstar when Rockstar bought it off Remedy.
Outside of Europe, it's published by a Japanese company.
Third person with a gun on a PS2. I'm trying to call my name back. Do you know what I mean?
Is it a horror game? A horror genre?
No.
No,
it's
right.
Not horror.
Okay. Main mechanic is shooting, though, for combat.
It's a dead game, and it's not exclusive.
Is it a single player or multiplayer? Better yet, is it a multiplayer focused game?
It is single player. I actually own this game. It says single player in the thing, so yeah.
Single player. Third person, part of a franchise.
Part of a franchise, you said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? No, I don't think.
Could it be an RPG? Maybe. I'm not talking to you, Sentinel. Don't answer that.
I mean,
Was it the first in a franchise?
Yes.
Right, that narrows it down a bit. I was thinking Metal Gear 2 for some reason.
That was exclusive at the time, though.
Yeah, so at the time of release, it wasn't exclusive. Then definitely, yeah, right.
That was a waste of a question, Ash, because he already told us beforehand it launched on the PS2.
So what did I just ask?
So we knew if it was the first game in the series franchise, but we already knew that because he pretty much told us that by saying it launched on.
You could ask me questions about the protagonist.
Does he like milk with his tea? Well,
does he like milk with his tea?
Maybe in his off time.
Yeah, so we know it's a male character. Do we ask if he plays a human? Will that help? Does that narrow anything down? Because if not, you don't play as a human, then we can start looking at some fantasy, sci-fi wise.
I'm trying to think what. Yeah, we've got 20 questions.
Well, not anymore. I mean,
well, not anymore. But that's the limit, and one of them has to be the final guess.
Do you play as a human?
Yes. Well, you play as a human, but part of the game allows you to control a non-human character. How about that?
That narrows it down to literally no fucking clue. You can't be control a non-human character. Human, but with a non-human character. Jesus.
When I say take control of them, it's not necessarily where like you're seeing through their eyes, but for certain instances in the game, it's a part of the combat.
Right.
If we best guess the name of the game, does that end anything if we're wrong?
Yeah, we lose. Yeah, we lose.
Okay, because I have a game in mind.
You can confer with them, and if it's a game that you think it's heavily, supported by everyone else, then you start asking questions like basically, leaning towards that, so that if it's not that, then it kind of,
I'm almost certain. I'm almost certain I'm right, but I'll ask this of you then. You said that you have a control of a non-human character. Is it a dog?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that I'm right, guys.
Oh, or what are you thinking, Umbra? What are you thinking?
Should I type it in the private chat?
Yeah, type it in the private chat.
Yeah, put it in private chat.
So go. A dog? What the fuck? Do you have a dog? Do you know what? I think I know which game you mean now. I think the dog thing's giving it away. I'll let you type though. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Now you've said it, and he said that.
It's also published by two different ones, so a Japanese one and a European one in other spots, whatever. So it meets that requirement as well.
Yeah.
His third person is a shooter and has control of a dog, non-human character.
Why?
Yeah, because
who developed it? Do we know?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh God!
You want me to type it? Let me type it in here.
Oh, sorry. No, we can say it as long as we're not asking Sentinel. It was.
Okay.
Namco. Is it Namco?
Namco, Rebellion, and Volatile.
Ask Sentinel. Was it developed by Namco?
Yes.
I think you may have got it right.
They call me old detective. They call me Detective Umbra. You all might not have known that, but we play Among Us. I'm pretty much always solve the case.
Nice.
Because I remember rightly, because it originally released on Xbox, PlayStation 2, and eventually it came to GameCube. Eventually, if I remember rightly.
Yep.
Right. So, well, was it a action adventure game?
What? You sure?
Yeah, that'll say it. That's what I. Well, I know. Well, Sentinel, don't answer yet.
Well, I mean, would you call an action adventure game like Uncharted or what?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. But don't answer yet. Don't answer it. Because Asher clearly don't want.
Was it also developed by Volatile Games in the franchise? Like, was the Volatile Games part of the franchise?
It could have been. I'm not sure.
I'll ask the direct question. Was the character's main name Jack?
Yes.
There we go.
Right, we've got the game. Go on, Umbra. Go on. You ask.
Dead to Rights.
There you go. That's it.
There you go.
Yay! See.
I thought to ask it before. I was like, I don't know if that would be violation or a cheat, but I'm like,
no, that was good.
When did they make? I've just googled it, literally Wikipedia it now. When did they do a Game Boy game of it?
Oh jeez.
Oh yeah.
When was the 4 of them?
Game Boy game.
Yeah, as far as I know, they only had a PSP game.
I don't see a Game Boy game. I see
Dead
Windows,
to Rights,
PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, PlayStation Portable, PS3, and Xbox 360. So
top-down shooter video game based on it. Yeah, loosely based on the original.
I wanted to say that it took inspiration from Max Payne, but I felt like that would be giving it away.
Yeah.
I see it. It was one. The Game Boy Advance spinoff. I see it.
When was
the streak continues?
Yep, there you go. Very good. Outstanding.
The streak continues. We've not failed yet. We're doing good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm thinking next week for PSN. We might do 100 questions special maybe. Maybe.
See what news is like next week.
Yeah.
Don't get Fabio on to fucking ask 20
Oh
questions.
my god, right?
To ask 20 questions and then bounce.
Was it on the Decima engine 2.6492? Wow!
You know what? BMG is notorious for asking questions like, was it made in 1993? Or did it come out before August of 2006 or something like that? And you're like, wait, hold on, I got to think about it.
I panic. I get panic.
Ask a question that doesn't narrow it down ever.
Yeah, last week.
I remember Dead to Rights. I had that actually.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Right? We played 20 questions last week on XBL, and Sentinel decided he's going for a walk in barefoot across people's gardens.
Oh my god, here we
Left
go.
me on my own to ask questions, which is the biggest mistake, and I think I wasted 12 of them, and I was still no closer.
That's because he was about halfway through. A case of Foster's, and he couldn't think straight. And I get it.
That's true. That's it. I can't deny that. That's true.
Australian for beer.
Yeah, it's I get it. It's hard to think about complicated stuff like that whenever you've had some beers, because your brain, it's kind of like relaxed. I completely get it. That's why you got a team. See, that's why you got a team to help you out.
See, I get flustered when I've got to choose what pair of socks I'm going to wear in the morning.
Yep, I get it.
Right. Well, that ends today's episode. Big thank you to obviously my panelists, Sentinel, BMG, special guest Ham Solo, and Infinite Umbra. Big thank you to everyone in chat. So you got Daz, you've got Darth Praxis, we had Muppet, we've got Thimba, we had Meisuko, we had the Ghost of Jinna. There's loads. There was Dragonheart Yobi in there. I'm trying to Truly.
Luke Steele.
Yeah, Luke Steele, Mr. Joanna Dart.
Luke Steele is like in 100 chats a week, I swear to God. He's always so busy.
It's not really him, it's Stubbs managing his YouTube account for him.
Oh, right.
Yep. So Stubbs is in all the chats doing it for him, really. It's not really Luke. Luke's been like trapped in Stubbs' cupboard or something. He's not allowed. But yeah, big thank you to everyone. Umbra, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter under Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. And of course, on the many podcasts I seem to be on nowadays, the Xbox Factor with Boom on Tuesdays at 12 Eastern. My podcast, which is tonight at 7 p.m. Let me say 8 Eastern. How about that? 7 o'clock for my time, Central. The Fix with myself and Daniel McGee. And tomorrow, we have the Xbox Infinite podcast with myself and a bunch of Aussies. Risk It for the Biscuit, Jedi Knight Peter, and Doom Cutie. The guest tonight for me on the Fix will be Luke Steele. And
nice.
tomorrow on the Xbox Infinite podcast will be King David from the Iron Lords podcast.
Oh wow!
Awesome.
So nice,
if
very
you guys
nice.
Are free, come by and say hello to a brother.
Definitely, we'll do.
Definitely. Is it the same name on YouTube as well?
Yes, and Infinite Umbra.
Awesome.
And so you'll be able to find me pretty easily there. I mean, I can also share my link in the chat. Let me do that.
Yeah,
sure.
share your link in the chat.
Definitely.
Grab that. All right. Oops. All right. And there we go.
Fantastic. BMG and Sentinel, have you got what you want to share before we head on out? Fantastic.
Go on, Sentinel, you go first.
Yeah, sure. Tonight we have an episode of XPN USA, and the guest for tonight will be Fuzzy Belvedere. We did have Dead Man Gaming, but unfortunately he had something come up, so he's not going to be able to make it. That will be 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, which would be like 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Same channel, XPN USA, so if you're able to check it out, definitely do so. You can also find me every Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday on the PSN Party Podcast, 2:30 p.m. Central Time. and Xbox Live is 2 p.m. Central Time on Thursdays, pretty much every single week. So you guys can find me there as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and we've got the this Sunday we at 8 p.m. Sorry, 8 p.m. BST. 8 p.m. BST UK time. We have the Destiny Party Podcast episode 1. So if you are interested in anything to do with Destiny, that's all it's about. No other news. Come check us out. And we've got the PSN Party Podcast next week, Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. BST. But I want some suggestions from chat. I want the community to give me some games. DM me on Discord or DM me on Twitter at BobmanGamer. My DMs are open. I want some game suggestions. Give me some games that you think, some that we all know, and we can, get more of the community involved in that. But yeah, that's all. That's it from me.
Fantastic. And obviously you can find me on Twitter at I'm_Ghostbuster with a 0 instead of an O. And obviously I manage the XPN network, Twitter and socials and everything. So you can get in touch with me there. I'm not on any other podcasts other than the PlayStation Party Podcast and the XBL Party Podcast at the moment. So you can find me here doing review videos, live streams. Like I say, we've been sent a load of stuff from Square, so I've been playing through a lot of them. And also next week I'm going to be doing a lot of streams for a charity. If you check out the description below in the, like I say, under the video, I'm doing streams to raise money for Safe in Our World, which is a mental health charity. As part of me being an Outright Games ambassador, I'm helping them raise money for that charity. Check the link out. There's a video explaining what they do and everything, but it's a great cause. If you can donate, feel free to, like I say, every little helps hit that goal. But I'll be playing all sorts of games. I'll also be playing with a Let's Play Pets game as well. I've just been speaking to the dev, and he's given me 20 codes for the game to give out. So when I do the next stream of that live, there'll be loads of codes being thrown out while I'm stroking all those cows and sheep and ducks and everything. So it's going to be amazing.
Wow.
I have been playing it a lot since I did the last stream. I'm just getting like squillions of dollars all the time. So I'm just pushing forward to get the rest of the buildings now, to get the rest of the pets. So we'll be following it, and it's going to be awesome. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thank you guys in chat. Thank you, panelists and guests. And we'll see you next week for another episode of the XBL Party Podcast UK. Redders may be back hosting, I don't know. But if he's not, I will be here to make it 10 times better, as always.
They didn't challenge you. They didn't challenge you on that, so.
No, because they know it's true. They know it's true.
Right.
Girl, you know it's true.
We brought the green back.
Good night. Au revoir. And sleep well and play lots of games.
Arrivederci.
Later, everyone.